One of the few men to have walked on the moon is Buzz Aldrin. Thanks to his unique experience as a lunar astronaut, Aldrin has a lot of insight about the moon, which he shared later in life.
There was something out there that was close enough to be observed, and what could it be?
In this video, be prepared to have everything you were told about the moon challenged as Buzz Aldrin reveals the moon is not what you think. Buzz Aldrin, a name that resonates with the spirit of adventure, bravery, and pioneering human achievement when you think of Apollo 11. It's impossible not to imagine that historic mission and Aldrin's role in it. This was a man who walked on the moon, who danced with the stars, and who became an embodiment of humanity's quest to venture beyond our earthly boundaries. Aldrin brought to Apollo 11 an impeccable blend of academic brilliance and military precision. With a PhD from MIT, his knowledge of rendezvous techniques was pivotal to the mission's success, and when NASA needed expertise, Aldrin was their man. But let's not just dwell on his intellectual prowess. Buzz was also an ace fighter pilot, having flown combat missions during the Korean War. Talk about an action hero. On board Apollo 11, Aldrin was the lunar module pilot. And while this title might seem limited in scope, its significance cannot be overstated. It was Aldrin's responsibility to manage the complex systems of the lunar module, aptly named Eagle, ensuring it could land on the moon's surface and then ascend back to rendezvous with the command module. Every switch, every light, every piece of data was under Aldrin's vigilant eye. His role was the linchpin between mission success and potential catastrophe. And then came the moment we all hold our breaths for, even decades later, the descent to the moon. As the Eagle separated from the command module, guided by Aldrin's hands and sharp mind, it made its historic journey to the lunar surface. The challenges were plenty. A navigation computer sounding alarms, boulders on the landing site, and fuel running precariously low. But Aldrin, along with Armstrong, managed these challenges with a calmness that defied belief, making split-second decisions that would ultimately ensure their safe landing on the moon's sea of tranquility. After Armstrong's iconic "one small step" declaration, Buzz Aldrin followed, becoming the second human ever to set foot on the lunar landscape. As he descended the ladder and touched the moon's surface, he described the view as magnificent desolation. His poetic words encapsulated the surreal beauty and barrenness of this alien world. On the moon, Buzz set up experiments, planted the American flag, and even found a moment of spiritual reflection, partaking in a symbolic act of communion on the moon. Don't forget, he was both a scientist and a humanist, engaging in activities that showcased the blending of rigorous technical endeavor with profound human experience. Aldrin's interactions with the moon were not limited to just walking and working. He even playfully showcased what it was like to move in the moon's reduced gravity. He hopped, he skipped. He demonstrated the moon's unique environment with childlike enthusiasm, much to the delight and wonder of an audience of millions back on Earth. He took some famous photos, such as the one of his boot print on the moon, which showed the effects of pressure in the lunar soil. He also took a selfie, which was one of the first selfies in space. He also appeared in one of the most iconic photos of all time, which was taken by Armstrong and showed Aldrin saluting the American flag on the moon, with Armstrong's reflection visible in his helmet visor. He was involved in a historic phone call with President Richard Nixon, who congratulated him and Armstrong on their achievement. Nixon called them the two most famous men in all history and said that they had made a giant leap for mankind. He re-entered the lunar module after Armstrong and prepared for the ascent. He activated a switch that sent an electric current to ignite the ascent engine, which lifted them off from the moon. He then docked with Michael Collins, who was orbiting the moon in the command module Columbia. Aldrin's contributions to Apollo 11 were monumental, not just in terms of technical know-how, but also in spirit. Buzz Aldrin experienced space sickness during the Apollo 11 mission to the moon, which was the first time that a human being suffered from this condition in space. Space sickness is a form of motion sickness that occurs when the inner ear and the eyes send conflicting signals to the brain about the body's orientation and movement in a weightless environment. Space sickness can cause symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, dizziness, headache, fatigue, and loss of appetite. Shockingly, Aldrin's space sickness was not widely reported or discussed at the time, as NASA wanted to focus on the positive aspects of the mission and avoid any negative publicity. However, Buzz Aldrin later revealed his space sickness in his autobiography. He also talked about his space sickness in interviews and documentaries. He said that he wanted to share his story to help other astronauts and future space travelers prepare for and prevent space sickness. He also said that he wanted to show that he was human and vulnerable, just like anyone else. Buzz Aldrin developed space sickness on the third day of the mission while he was performing a series of maneuvers and experiments inside the command module Columbia. He was testing a sextant, a device that measures the angle between two celestial objects, to determine the spacecraft's position and velocity. He also conducted a zero-gravity experiment with a floating pen and a piece of paper. He noticed that he felt unwell and disoriented after moving his head rapidly or changing his position. He reported his condition to Mission Control and to his crewmates, Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins. Buzz Aldrin tried to cope with his space sickness by taking medication, resting, and avoiding sudden movements. He also drank water and ate crackers to settle his stomach. He did not vomit, but he felt nauseous and uncomfortable for about 2 days. He was worried that his space sickness would affect his performance and jeopardize the mission. He was also concerned about how the public would react to his condition, as he did not want to tarnish his image as an astronaut and a hero. Fortunately, Buzz Aldrin recovered from his space sickness before he had to enter the lunar module Eagle and descend to the moon with Armstrong. He was able to perform his duties as the lunar module pilot and as the second person to walk on the moon without any problems. However, some of the things he revealed about his time on the moon were nothing less than shocking. One of the most intriguing suggestions he's made involves the potential existence of hidden structures or even a base on the far side of the moon. Whether it's the remnants of an ancient civilization or the work of extraterrestrial beings, this idea is rich with excitement and the allure of the unknown. Now let's dive right into the essence of Aldrin's suggestion. During interviews and public appearances, he has made references to peculiar anomalies that have been observed on the moon. Some of these anomalies include strange, unexplained structures or formations that can't be easily dismissed as natural geological features. In Aldrin's view, these could be indicators of something more, a hidden base or an artifact from a long-lost civilization, perhaps even something of alien origin. The far side of the moon, often referred to as the dark side, remains largely unexplored. This is the side that always faces away from the Earth due to the moon's synchronous rotation. It's a place shrouded in mystery, where the unexplained could easily hide and where our limited knowledge leaves room for incredible possibilities. Aldrin's suggestion taps into this mystique, sparking our imagination and fueling a desire to explore and understand. Could there really be hidden structures or a base on the moon? Aldrin's comments have ignited a flurry of excitement and speculation. People have begun poring over lunar images, looking for signs of artificial construction. Some claim to have found evidence of towers, bridges, and even complex installations. While many of these findings can be attributed to pareidolia, seeing patterns where none actually exist, the fact that a seasoned astronaut like Aldrin entertained the idea adds a level of gravitas that's hard to ignore. Interestingly, Aldrin's enthusiasm for the subject goes beyond mere speculation. He has actively called for renewed exploration of the moon, especially its far side. His desire is not just to satiate our curiosity, but to unlock potential knowledge that could be vital for humanity's understanding of the cosmos and our place within it. If there were indeed ancient structures or alien bases on the moon, discovering and studying them could lead to technological advancements, historical revelations, and a completely new perspective on life in the universe. And let's not overlook the adventurous spirit that Aldrin's suggestion embodies. The notion that there could be hidden treasures waiting to be discovered on the moon is enough to ignite the imaginations of young and old alike. It harks back to the days of explorers and treasure hunters, where maps were dotted with "Here be dragons," and the unknown was a siren song calling to the bold and the brave. In the context of the space age, Aldrin's idea fits perfectly with the insatiable human drive to explore new frontiers. If there are hidden structures on the moon, they represent an irresistible challenge. What are they? Who built them? How old are they? The answers to these questions could be the holy grail of modern exploration, and the chase is exhilarating. Aldrin's call for exploration and investigation is a rallying cry for curiosity, adventure, and the pursuit of knowledge. It's a statement that resonates with those who refuse to believe that we have uncovered all there is to know about our universe. It's a spark that lights the fire of imagination in scientists, explorers, and dreamers alike. However, when it comes to tales of mystery and wonder from outer space, few incidents capture the imagination quite like Aldrin's account of seeing a peculiar object during the historic Apollo 11 mission to the moon. It was July 1969, and all eyes were on the Apollo 11 mission. Armstrong, Collins, and Aldrin were the trio representing humanity's efforts to land on the moon for the very first time. As they hurtled through the vastness of space in their command module, Aldrin saw something that would spark debates, inspire countless theories, and fuel the fires of our cosmic curiosity for decades to come. Peering out of the window, Aldrin caught sight of a peculiar object floating alongside them. It wasn't just a fleeting glimpse either. This thing was positively there, tangible, and very much real. The object wasn't a part of their spacecraft, nor was it any recognizable space debris. It moved in such a way that it seemed to be under some sort of control, rather than simply tumbling aimlessly. What made this sighting especially riveting was not just the mere existence of the object, but the caliber of the witness. Remember, Aldrin wasn't just an average Joe with a casual claim. He was an astronaut, a man of science, trained to observe and report with accuracy and precision. This was a man who had undergone countless hours of training, simulations, and tests to ensure that when the time came, he would be ready to document every aspect of the mission. Imagine being thousands of miles from Earth, in the great dark void of space, and seeing something unexplained right outside your window. The natural question that would pop into anyone's mind would be, what on Earth, or rather, what off Earth is that? This is what Aldrin and his crewmates must have wondered. To add to the plot, the astronauts on board Apollo 11 were hesitant to immediately inform Mission Control about the strange sighting. They first opted to inquire indirectly about the location of the stage of the Saturn V rocket they had detached from earlier. This was to ascertain if what Aldrin was observing could be this discarded component. The response confirmed that the stage in question was 6,000 miles away. So whatever Aldrin was watching was definitely not that. Speculation about the object was rife. Was it an optical illusion? A reflection of some internal piece of the spacecraft? Or, as many enthusiasts dared to ask, was it evidence of some other intelligent entity taking a keen interest in humanity's first journey to the moon? To make the event even more intriguing, this wasn't a narrative that Aldrin shied away from after returning to Earth. Instead, he spoke openly about it in interviews. He was transparent about what he saw, what he felt, and his own interpretations of the event. He was careful not to jump to conclusions, but was equally clear that he saw something genuinely unidentifiable. This account from the Apollo 11 mission serves as a potent reminder that space remains a vast, largely unexplored frontier. Even with our most advanced technology and our best-trained minds at work, there's so much we don't know. Aldrin's encounter underscores the tantalizing possibility of countless mysteries lurking in the vast expanses, waiting for us to discover them. The object Aldrin saw has spurred many to dig deeper, to ask bigger questions about our universe and our place within it. It has inspired both seasoned scientists and armchair astronomers to keep their eyes on the skies and their minds open to the infinite possibilities that space presents. In the history of space exploration history, Apollo 11 stands out as a crowning achievement of human capability. Yet, it's this unexpected and unexplained twist that gives the tale a sprinkle of magic and wonder. But wait till you hear Aldrin's other assertions on the cosmos. We are not alone in this vast universe. When you pause and consider the staggering vastness of the universe, it becomes almost absurd to think that Earth is the only haven for life. Think about it. There are billions of galaxies, each teeming with billions of stars, and around those stars orbit untold numbers of planets. Aldrin firmly emphasizes this point. The idea of Earth being a unique cosmic anomaly becomes minuscule when faced with such vastness. How can we, in our one tiny corner of the Milky Way, possibly be the only thinking beings? Aldrin has never been one to shy away from the monumental. This is a man who, along with Neil Armstrong, made the giant leap for mankind onto the lunar surface. His feet touched alien soil long before most of us were even contemplating the prospects of alien neighbors. It's this first-hand experience that gives weight to his beliefs. If humans can tread upon our moon, then why wouldn't other life forms be gazing at their moons and stars, thinking of the endless possibilities, just like us? Buzz's fervor for space exploration and his commitment to deepening our understanding of the cosmos is unmistakable. He's lived and breathed the alien, the otherworldly, the cosmic unknowns, and emerged with a conviction that echoes through the very fabric of space-time. We are not the only ones here. Now let's dive deeper into this cosmic perspective. Imagine a vast ocean teeming with different species, from the smallest plankton to the giant blue whale. If Earth was a single drop in this ocean, wouldn't it be preposterous to assume that life existed only in that one drop? The wonders of the universe are truly beyond comprehension. But every day, our scientists and astronomers are making discoveries that push the boundaries of our understanding. Exoplanets are being discovered at an exhilarating rate, many of which are located within the Goldilocks zone, that magical region around a star where conditions might just be right for life as we know it. If that doesn't fire up your imagination, consider this. These are just the planets we've found. There are surely countless more out there, waiting to be discovered, potentially teeming with life. Aldrin's assertions also come with a subtle but compelling challenge. He's urging humanity to continue its cosmic journey. His belief in extraterrestrial life is more than just an assertion. It's a clarion call for continued exploration. It's a beckoning towards a future where interstellar travel isn't just the stuff of science fiction, but a tangible reality. Imagine the civilizations we could meet, the cultures we could immerse ourselves in, and the cosmic mysteries we could finally unravel. Beyond just the potential of biological entities, think of the forms that extraterrestrial life could take. Silicon-based beings, gas giants with floating sentient forms, or even beings of pure energy. The universe is a playground of endless potential, and Aldrin's conviction is a testament to the boundless possibilities that lie in wait. While skeptics might argue that there's no concrete evidence of extraterrestrial life, Aldrin's perspective is grounded in probability and optimism. It's a reminder to always keep an open mind and to let curiosity be our guide. The vastness of the universe, combined with the exciting discoveries of exoplanets and the mysteries they hold, make the notion of life beyond Earth not just plausible, but highly likely. Life on the moon is a fascinating topic that has intrigued scientists and explorers for centuries. But how could life have originated or arrived on the moon? Life as we know it requires some basic conditions, such as liquid water, organic molecules, energy sources, and suitable temperatures. The moon is a very harsh and barren place for life. It has no atmosphere, no magnetic field, no plate tectonics, and no volcanic activity. It is exposed to extreme temperatures, ranging from minus 173 degrees Celsius or minus 279 degrees Fahrenheit at night, to 127 degrees Celsius or 261 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. It is also bombarded by cosmic rays, solar wind, and meteorites. The moon has very little water, mostly in the form of ice in permanently shadowed craters near the poles. The moon also has very low gravity, only about 1/6 of Earth's. Given these conditions, it is very unlikely that life could have originated on the moon by itself. The moon lacks the essential ingredients and processes that are needed for life to emerge and evolve. However, this does not mean that life could not have arrived on the moon from somewhere else. There are two possible ways that life could have been transported to the moon: panspermia and human activity. Panspermia is the hypothesis that life can be spread throughout the universe by natural means, such as asteroids, comets, or interstellar dust. According to this idea, Life could have originated on Earth or another planet and then been carried by space rocks to other worlds, including the Moon. Some scientists have suggested that some of the lunar rocks brought back by the Apollo missions may contain traces of microbial life from Earth or Mars. However, this hypothesis is very speculative and controversial, and there is no conclusive evidence to support it. Human activity is another possible way that life could have reached the Moon. Humans have been sending spacecraft and landers to the Moon since the 1950s, some of which may have carried biological contaminants or experiments. For example, in 2019, an Israeli spacecraft called Bereshit crashed on the Moon with a payload that included thousands of tardigrades, microscopic animals that can survive extreme conditions. Some scientists have speculated that these tardigrades may still be alive on the Moon, but this is also uncertain and disputed. If there is any life on the Moon, it would have to be very simple and resilient, such as bacteria or fungi. It would also have to be able to survive in very limited and isolated habitats, such as inside rocks or ice. It would also have to cope with the lack of water, nutrients, and energy sources on the Moon. It is very unlikely that there is any complex or multicellular life on the Moon.